Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues. With this video, we'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 16 of the anime series Shokugeki no Soma. And I was highly intrigued, leaving off with the cliffhanger in the previous episode, the idea that Joichiro and Soma were going to be going head-to-head, in a sort of unofficial Shokugeki, basically a matchup to see whose skills were better. And I think, you'd have to be fooling yourself, kidding yourself, pretty strongly to think that Joichiro, being a former, second seat of the Elite 10, with the skills and the prowess he has, even if he didn't graduate Totsuki Academy, Soma's not at that level yet. With all the skills and the prowess that Soma yields and wields, you just know that his father's probably going to wipe the floor with him. And I love that the dialogue reflects that they have been through this countless times. I mean, we saw this toward the earlier portion of the series a little more when, his father was still in the episodes, in first, 3 episodes, whatever it was. We saw that they like to challenge each other and they like to have fun. Lo and behold, they've been doing this 489 times, 490 times by the end of the episode, with Daddy wiping the floor with Soma and everything. But it was very highly intriguing to me to see how Joichiro's dish, rounded out. Like, it was a breakfast ramen, but it was utilizing, instead of meat products and, fish and that kind of stuff, he actually tripped it up with sort of vegetarian ingredients. And so it would be sort of longer lasting. For somebody like, Satoshi, out of the 3 judges, you had Fumio, Satoshi, and Megumi. But Satoshi was talking about just coming in from outside and having done yard work, and he wanted something substantial with a weightiness to it. And, that's what Joichiro was able to bring to the table. Again, as Soma notes, maximizing the satisfaction, a longer lasting amount of that. And with Megumi, who's been just completely, she's in a state of shock and almost sleepwalking. After everything that happened at the camp offshoot and everything, how grating that was on her nerves. She just wanted something to sort of perk her up and wake her up. And I think arguably, Soma's dish is the one that I probably would have been gravitating the most toward, with the apple flavoring, the fruitiness of it and everything, the way it was described. I'm somebody who's perfectly content with a bowl of oatmeal, with apple chunks in it, brown sugar, cinnamon, whatever it is. I don't need a huge hulking meal, and ramen is not the immediate thought I have as far as breakfast, even though I have a pizza and steak in the morning sometimes, and pancakes for dinner, whatever it is, whatever your palate desires through a given day. There aren't any rules that say what you can and can't consume at any specific time of day, but I just feel like, even with the descriptive nature of how exactly Joichiro went through this, it wasn't the more salivating of the 2 dishes brought to the table, and yet, of course, still Soma does pack it in for the 490th time. But I did love that dream sequence calling back, like Snow White. Megumi is like imagining she's out in this field, and you got these dancing mushrooms around her. She's wearing the Snow White attire, and then Prince Apple comes along and gives her the awakening kiss and everything. I love the dream sequences, and again, to see father and son, it was very intriguing, because I had this overhanging question in my previous episode discussion video: why was Joichiro here now, of all times? And we even see that Fumio puts this question to him. Why now? Even Soma as well. But of course, he actually answers Fumio by saying he had an errand that was, Totsuki Academy involved. What errand? I think it's interesting that in the early morning hours at the start of the episode, we see Arina waking up, and there is that book containing the picture with Joichiro on it. She and Joichiro together, and she wakes up almost as if she can sense. It's like spider sense, from Spider-Man, all that kind of stuff. She's like Joichiro sense, And then toward the end of the episode, when finally he's like, all right, well, I said my piece, I came, I saw, I whipped Soma's ass, and he's on his merry way once again. We see that she's driving in the car. She's got her assistant telling her, okay, this is the, day plan and everything like that. Here's what you got to do today. And she's got her eyes closed. Her arms are crossed. And she's completely oblivious to the outside world. But she, again, has that sort of Joichiro sense. In the car, she screams, stop the car, jumps out, is like looking for him. She sees almost a vision of him as he's walking away. And it's kind of like, does this errand have to do with that? Does it have to do with Dojima? Does it have to do... What exactly was Joichiro here for? It wasn't simply and just, you know, cut and dry that he was going to challenge Soma and see what Soma's skill level had leveled off at this point. And so I hope we're going to be finding out at some point. Soma was basically left with this charge from his father to air out the restaurant from time to time. And of course, Fumio suggests the next time you have a day off, why don't you go back and check out the restaurant? And you got this little girl who stops in front of it like she's looking almost hauntingly at it, like, you know, when is this place going to open again or whatever. And you have some shop owner who's actually lamenting what's going to happen to this little, you know, store district. I'm assuming that means without that restaurant being open, they're not doing a lot of business. So is Soma then going to have to potentially contend with, you know, should I leave school and keep these businesses running? Should I hire on somebody to take care of it while I'm away? This could be another added facet to his dilemma in this. We're going to own this place. You know, I want to reach the top. I want to go further than my father has ever gone before and all that kind of stuff. And so he's very much about that. He's very much about wanting to succeed. And I almost felt like it was precursor to a sense of a renaissance for Polar Star Dormitory, knowing now that Dojima and, you know, Joichiro were there when they were younger. Could this be bringing about a renaissance for it with Satoshi and all the other skilled members of Polar Star who survived the entirety of the offshoot, you know, Totsuki camp and all that stuff? They all brought their A game. They all made it this far. And it could very much happen. We could very much see the sort of turn of the tide where Polar Star climbs up that ladder again and is like the one to then beat, you know, sets the precedent. And that would be really awesome if Soma was at sort of the lead charge of that, to follow in his father's footsteps and then go beyond him. And so, yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of episode 16 of Shokugeki no Soma, if you've seen it, if you loved it like I did. If you didn't, you know, why not? Anything goes in the comments below, as long as it isn't spoilery stuff from the source material and everything. And love having the conversation with you guys. And so, yeah, otherwise that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well. And I'll catch you all later. Peace.